What's going on, my PT peeps, my From fans, my fighters? I'm One Eyebrow, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about From Season 2, Episode 3. We're going to break it down, talk about it, discuss it, all those good things. So obviously, spoiler warning for all things From. Yes, the TV show is called From. If you don't know what we're talking about, check it out on MGM Plus, Amazon for the first season. But it is an awesome show so far, and Season 2, Episode 3 continues on with the questions. We need some more answers, but an unukshuk. So we came across this online, and it looks like it could be something serving as a function to guide travelers, warn of danger, assist hunters, and marking places of reverence. So what is it for our characters on the show? We just don't know just yet, but we saw it twice now, and there's got to be some sort of connection, right? And I mean, the build up, when's the payoff? We're still waiting for it. But if you watch the previously in the other episodes, you see the symbol in the cave wall. You see a couple other symbols there too. And it's just cool when you watch it because it may be something you missed. They're highlighting something for sure. And they definitely showed it here with Tabitha in the cave. The ball rolls and hits and knocks it over, and then we see this weird creepy thing, or his person, I guess, this weird creepy creature person. And now Tabitha is seeing them out and about, but are they there? Are they not there? Not sure. But the episode starts with Boyd looking at his gash. That's a pretty big scratch, cut, laceration on his arm, but he doesn't tell anybody anything, right? Besides Abby. He's at the gravesite, but he's talking to Ellis, and it's, like we're waiting for him to communicate what he saw. Ellis is trying to, figure out what's going on, what happened out there. And, he lies. He doesn't want to sound crazy because I guess it would sound crazy, right? And I have to say that Ellis's right arm healed pretty quickly. So here, no sling. Yesterday was a sling because it's only been so short of a time. It's like the next morning, right? So sling, no sling. But Boyd is got to figure out what's going on, what's real. And it's got to be so frustrating because you don't know. Is he making things up? Is he hallucinating? Is it just, does he actually have those things in his body? It's interesting. Now, if you know this channel, you know that we have a theory about red objects, and they're all over the place in this episode. There's the red toolbox, there's the red lantern, there's the red bag, there's a bunch of stuff here. But Boyd and Ellis talk, and nothing really comes of it, which we thought would happen. He didn't tell Donna anything. He didn't tell Ellis anything. He didn't tell really anyone anything besides Abby, who can't judge him because she's gone. But we see the red toolbox, and Ellis leaves. And it's interesting because Ellis gets engaged, or is going to get married. He's already engaged, I guess, to Fatima, however you want to say it. But Boyd talks about the wedding. Was she talking about Christy and the other lady, or Ellis and Fatima? Because we're not sure. It's just does he have a clairvoyant thing? Does he know about the future? Foreshadowing. But Jim is patched up. He's supposed to lay in bed, which he doesn't. He's trying to figure out answers. And then we see Donna have a problem with, I believe this new guy's name is Randall. You see the red bag that Elgin has. You see another red bag that another person has. And I'm curious, do the creatures just keep coming back if you keep shooting them? Is there no way of stopping them whatsoever? Because if it is, that's pretty disheartening that you can't just go out guns a-blazing. But there's another rifle that Randall has that they can use to go against the creatures. But they come up with the idea to stay here in town, and they take the rifle away. Again, a red cup. There's red chairs. There's red trays. I can't get over the red, but we'll see it. It's warning, danger. We'll have to see. It's only a color, I know, but it's kind of all over the place. Julie and the Matthews family are trying to figure out what to do, what's going on with this, where are they going to live. So they end up staying with Mrs. Liu. And it's interesting because Mrs. Liu, I think there's more to this character than they're leading on. She's all about the tea, right? Kenny was going to make tea. She was going to make tea. Anytime someone's stressed or someone's freaked out, which is basically all the time in this town, she wants to make tea. Do you want some tea? Is it herbal tea? Is it some kind of helpful tea? But we see the red cooler, and we see that the Matthews family is going to stay with Mrs. Liu, which this house is getting pretty packed. They have to build another couple homes. They got to build an apartment there, an apartment complex. But they have to get clothes, and more on that later. So we see Ellis looking for flowers, or picking flowers. And I had to laugh when Kenny was like, yo, stop picking flowers and help me. What are you doing, right? So as they're fixing the traps, they probably for rabbits or other small game, they hear music playing. And it's weird because there shouldn't be music playing at all. And it's interesting of the song that's playing, Wake Up, Little Susie, Wake Up. And sorry it's so blurry there, but Wake Up is on the phone. And it's just weird because of all the songs, is it like a 50s song? Like, not sure. But then we see Kelly has a rod in her head. And there's a if you ever took a psychology class, you probably learned about Phineas Gage. And he actually had a rod in his head and he survived. But Kelly doesn't survive. But Kelly wakes up. She is kind of stuck to the tree. And why did the creatures do this to her? That's kind of odd, right? Why didn't they rip her apart? She says that they ripped Brian apart. So it's Brian and Kelly. More on that later. And why didn't they rip her apart like Brian? And why are they playing with these people now? And we see Victor goes back to his room and he looks for something and he's looking for the violin, I guess, that probably belonged to his mother. And we see Jade just somehow knows how to play the violin. That works out nice for that. But Victor is pissed off because why are you in my room? What are you doing? Don't go in my room, which it would be, right? But Jade has the picture and he has information and he has to talk about the symbols. And Victor just looks at him, which is kind of like what this show is going to be. Like, answer the question, Victor. Talk. Boyd, talk. Let people know. Progress the story a little bit more. Stop stretching it out. It's only 3 episodes in and we got 7 more to go for this season. But it's like, come on. You could have said something here, but they didn't. And Kelly talks about Brian, I guess her boyfriend. What are they doing in the woods? And, she kind of explains that they were there. We see that they opened the door, but there's a talisman on the wall. Why were they allowed just to come in? I don't know, the continuity, someone please explain that a little bit to me. It's probably not going to stop them from getting in, but it's just like makes you think about it. So Christy comes and there's nothing she can do. So she tries to be nice and see what she can do and just talk with Kelly. So we see that the Matthews family here, Julie and Tabitha, gets clothes. I have to talk about the jacket that Tabitha puts on. It's all red, right? So they're talking about things and there's nothing they can do. And it's kind of morbid that they're trying on clothes. That there's a lot of clothes in here. There's a lot of people's clothes. So I guess they had luggage and it's just been collecting clothes, right? Red jacket. Then as they leave, Tabitha sees the 2, I don't even know what to call these. Just children, creepy children that are all in white. So all the kids we've seen so far are all in white. And Tabitha freaks out because it's kind of weird, but nothing is there. So how is she seeing them? How is she connected now? Because she flashed the light at that child creature thing in the cave, but nothing's there. So you're like, okay, what's the connection? If you see them, why do only some people see them? So then Boyd goes to the grave and talks to Abby. Talks about Martin, talks about this, talks about that. But he does say, we're going to have a wedding. But is he talking about Ellis and Fatima or Christy and her fiance, because she finds out about, them being together. So what do you make of that? I'm not sure. And they kept talking about dreams. People have dreams. People have this, people have that. When Fatima and Elgin talked about it by the water, it came up a couple times. And Julie tries to figure out what is going on with her mom. She wants to talk about it, but then she doesn't. And she talks about, the son that they lost, Thomas. And, it's sad because it's not a joyous thing when people lose a loved one or child, but Julie's kind of annoying a little bit right now. And they'll agree, disagree, but then let's go back to Kelly, because Kelly is fine as she's talking about what she wants to tell her mom back home. And then she starts, do you hear that? Do you hear that? What is that? And we don't hear anything, but as she's freaking out, we don't know what's going on because we don't hear anything. And neither does Kenny, Ellis, and Christy. And then Boyd shows up. So it's obvious that Boyd was some sort of, trigger for her. Maybe the worms, maybe Boyd's blood. We don't know what to make of it, but clearly Kelly was fine. And then Boyd showed up and then she wasn't. So Kelly is not doing well and they have to, end her suffering. So he rips out the rod and we don't see it again. The gore, I don't care. It's not a big thing in my opinion, but some people don't like that they're not showing the gore, the blood and guts, and when the creatures rip apart people, or this happened off screen, but we know what happened, right? So we know that Fatima and Ellis are going to get married. probably an upcoming episode. We'll see what's up with that. But it's just like they were talking about dreams a lot here. Is it all one big dream? I hope not. And then Ethan is playing with this toy, or I guess it's a toy, right? The Unukshuk, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's the same thing that we saw in the cave. And a child was playing with that before, I guess, or threw a ball at it or a rock at it, and Tabitha comes out and sees it. And she has to recognize it because Ethan completes it. And it's also interesting that it's in Mrs. Lou's closet. So what's the connection there? We see it there in the cave. We see Ethan playing with it. And then we see the kids in the distance. But again, these are symbols of a couple of different things. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it a warning? So again, at the bottom, it serves several functions, including guiding travelers, warning of danger, assisting hunters, and marking places of reverence. So which is it? Is it a guiding, warning, or marking, right? Or assisting? So as we see the completed toy, we see the kids in the distance. That Tabitha freaked out and went back in the house. I mean, I know it's kind of creepy and weird, but like, why wouldn't you say something or whatever? I guess you don't want to try and talk to them because Ethan doesn't see them and Julie didn't see them. Only Tabitha sees them, which is kind of weird because is she hallucinating? Is it weird? Is it this? It's like, what do you make of it? These kids they're not attacking them. They're just standing there. They're kind of polite. They smile. There's nothing dangerous about them at all. They're just standing there holding hands. So what's up with that? Donna drops a pot and she freaks out. She's having a bad day. I like Donna. I think Donna is the most realistic person here where she's like, we got to stay alive. We got to do this. We got to do that. And when she said, look, you're not going to tell me? Right. Of course you're not going to tell me, right? When you're ready to talk, I'm here. And then Boyd tells her about the guy, Brian Kelly Smuckers, who died in his arms. And it's interesting because that's a Brian and a Kelly that were there on the bus. What are the odds of that? Coincidence? We'll have to see what comes from that. And then Kenny goes down into the dungeon or the basement and he lights the lantern, which is a red lantern, by the way, right? So, I mean, everyone's in danger, but, you know, the symbolism of things, warning, danger, it's just interesting. The red color, the symbolism is definitely there on The Walking Dead, if you know this channel, but we'll have to see what to make of it on this series. It's only the second season, so we'll have to see. So as Kenny goes down into the creepy basement, he hears a noise and he's scared because it's kind of weird. The lantern doesn't really do much lighting of the area, but we see a person there and it turns out to be Sarah. So Sarah finally came back around at the end of the third episode, which is good because we've asked the question, where is Sarah? So she's here. She says, hi, Kenny. And that's the end of the episode. So did she teleport here from the tree? How did she get here? Because she didn't follow Boyd. Did she go in the same tree? What has she been up to? Sneaky, sneaky. But there you go, guys. What's up with this? The Unukshuk, the symbol, is it a warning? Is it assisting? Is it, you know, something that's going to help our group or hurt our group? Because again, these two kids don't seem like they're going to hurt anyone. And how come Tabitha is the only one that can see them? Does Victor see them too? Hopefully we'll get answers sooner rather than later. But let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Support the PT channel because we're going to be talking about From all this season. And hopefully there's multiple seasons. No word on it yet. If you guys know if there's going to be a third season, please let me know. I hope there is because I really enjoyed the show. Thank you guys either way. Stay safe. And as always, tell them Daryl.
Yo, we love you guys.